yeah, I would love to come back to something you kind of been saying throughout, which is
Okay.
like, so the point of these anchors
Yeah.
is not to shift our state, but to be able to stay with the state that we're in. Is that correct?
Basically, yeah, the point is to identify the safety state, feel it, and build the capacity to stay there. That will um that will affect your state. Like that will affect the intensity of whatever stuck state that you have. That will, so does that make sense? I mean, it does affect it, obviously, but it's just it's a, rather than saying, okay, let's go after this painful stuff that's within you. I'm saying, no, let's leave that there. Instead, let's focus on safety, building the vagal brake, which will affect the stuff that is stuck within you.
Mm. So it's like a question of like doing it by not trying to do it, if that makes sense.
It's I would say it's yes. And to add to that, I would say it's laying the groundwork. It's laying the foundation that is necessary for that other work that is probably more related directly to whatever stuck state you have, and probably whatever traumas people have are living with, whatever
Mm-hmm.
traumatic state.
Because I get stuck in rage or anger, fight, when I get stuck in shutdown, and often kind of I hit the anger and then I shut down because it doesn't feel safe. But and then I kind of desperately want out of that state.
Sure.
But then so using these directly to try to get out of the state is likely to just be another fight state. If I'm stuck in this state and I'm trying to get out of the
Yeah.
state, my
Yeah.
focus
So
should be on feeling the state that I'm in.
I would say, for if you're ready for it, not just for you, but for any of us, go right ahead. If you're ready for it, that is not easy to do. It is not easy to
Mm-hmm.
do. It
Mm-hmm.
really, it really, really isn't. And you probably are all aware of that. And so, what this course is about, what I'm encouraging you to do, is to not delve directly into your stuck defensive state. What I'm encouraging you to do is to build the capacity to feel safe, to identify what brings you to safety. So, Fiona, where are you at in the course? How far have you
I'm
gotten
just
into
a,
it?
just I'm just a week in, so it just
Okay. So,
started the physical.
oh, okay. So, are you doing the 30-day layout?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Um, so you've learned about the environmental anchors and hopefully started to shift your environment by now.
Yes.
So I don't want people in the course to just go after their stuck defensive state.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer that you, like for the environmental anchors, set up your environment little by little, and throughout the 30
Mm-hmm.
days, there is that changes.
Progression. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, like I have a chair over here. Actually, I can pivot. That's my safety spot over there. If I need to like ground myself, it's that corner. I go there.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds bad. If I need to ground myself, it's in the corner. If I need to self-regulate, I go to that chair, which happens to be in a corner, but it's facing the window. So like today, this morning, it's beautiful outside. I would open my blinds up, and that would be a place. I'm not going to go there if I'm like dysregulated. The point is not to like catch it, and try to feel my pain. I could do that, but for building safety anchors, what I want you to do is instead catch it, like notice it. Okay, cool. I notice that I'm in a dysregulated state. Instead of stopping everything I'm doing and meditating on that, let me go first ground myself in safety. If you can then meditate on or feel into the pain, go right ahead. That's up to you. But just for the scope of building safety anchors, what I'm encouraging you to do is to, if you can notice it, then go do something that grounds you. I would much rather that you do these things outside the context of any serious crisis going on. So if we're rageful, if we're panicking, it could help to ground yourself with a safety anchor. That does take practice, I think. I would
Mm-hmm.
much, and what helps to do that, what helps to actually ground yourself in an actual crisis, like in a panic, is to practice these things outside the context of being in a panic. So
Yes.
identifying what helps you get the idea. Yeah. So practice being in safety so that
Mm.
when things that normally might be a trigger into a panic are not as intense. Like for me, I've shared on the podcast, I am terrified of heights. I have a serious fear of heights that I'm realizing. And for me, it's especially when I'm in a car on a bridge, I go into a panic attack, like a full on freeze panic attack, which is not safe whatsoever, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But as I do this safety stuff, I've noticed like, oh, this isn't as terrifying. This overpass, or even like things like overpasses were starting to like really get to me. For some reason, they were triggering the state. And I know I would start to notice, oh, it's not as intense. And it's like, oh, I can actually be kind of playful about it now. There's definitely some bridges I'm not going to touch. I'm not there yet. Like I know
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to challenge that quite yet. But as I continue to build my own safety anchors and practice them, I'm noticing that heights, or being curious about being up high, or being in a car that's up high, looking over the edge, it's not nearly as terrifying. And sometimes I can actually be playful with it and smile and be like, oh, okay, I got this. So that's the point, is to build the capacity to feel safe, so that when we're in situations that normally would be difficult or challenging, they're not as challenging. That's one aspect of it. So to reduce that potential for a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
The other benefit is that if we can build the vagal brake enough, we could do other things like talk about traumas in therapy, meditate, or reflect on things that have been difficult for us, or to feel into that stuck defensive state before it's triggered. And so that not when it's triggered, but to invite it to be there and be curious about it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer
So
your
it
question?
sounds,
That's kind of a lot.
yeah. So it sounds
Okay.
like what you're saying is this course, what you're teaching is more about moving our baseline of
Yeah,
safety
that's a really good way to put it. Yes.
than it is about kind of how to respond when dysregulated. Though you may get there, but baseline is kind of where we're starting.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah, I absolutely want you to. The goal here is to increase the vagal brake strength, which will adjust your baseline. Yes, that's a great way to put it. Thank you for that.
Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you.
Alrighty.
So that we feel safe more of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just feel it, but like our biology is prepared for safety and social connection or self-reflection. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thank you for watching this clip from one of my open office hours. This is something that I do once a month for people who've signed up for one of my courses. If you're interested in joining a course and joining me on the next open office hour, go to my website. It is justinlmft.com. This and other content I create is not therapy, not intended to be therapy or be a replacement for therapy. Nothing in this creates or indicates a therapeutic relationship. Please consult with your therapist or seek for one in your area if you are experiencing mental health symptoms. Nothing should be understood to be specific life advice. It is for educational and entertainment purposes only.